You are live. Well, have to get things started off right here while I'm waiting on somebody to come in. Lipton, Georgia peach tea. Okay. Howdy. Hey, Christina. How y'all doing? Anybody feeling better? There's Melinda. Well, you been out Christmas shopping? Are you feeling better? Yeah, I know, Brian. Brian sounded terrible the other day. Melinda, how are we doing? I just got off a live with 3B Homestead. 3B. I was getting ready to go live. I was setting it up and was actually going to put something up saying that I was going to go live in 30 minutes, but they popped on, so I just went to them. Didn't know how long they'd be on, so I didn't put a time. Yeah, you're gonna have to do my Christmas shopping for me too, because I don't know what. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you later. You know what they want more than I do, or would know something they would like more than I would. So it makes sense to me. Well, I keep hitting the wrong button here. I'm trying to pull it. No, 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 no. We ain't doing none of that stuff. I don't know what's going on here. I can't get. Oh, there it goes. Finally. I can't get. I'm just now starting to pop up on my own phone. Huh. Well, Peggy says she'll be right back. Christina, you saying everyone's been bad? Are the kids feeling better? Melinda? They have a cold. That must have been one tough cold. It sounded more like a virus. Love you too, girl. Be good. I'll talk to you tomorrow or later on tonight. If I can stay awake. I was up late last night. Oh, boy. Melinda, how was the weather in Texas today? Because I'm going to tell you, we had a heat wave, and even tonight it's supposed to be just in the 50s. It's supposed to be in the 50s all night, and back into the 60s again tomorrow. But more rain. Last night it rained all night long. Yep, that's what they all need, some chicken noodle soup. I couldn't get a hold of Christina the other day. She was asleep, and the hospital called me about her mama, and I was trying to call her. I called Brian, and Brian answered the phone like he was, you know, he was dead, and he just happened to roll over. I was like, "Are you sick too?" Yeah. Man, I'm gonna it rain again tomorrow, and hopefully it's not all day. It's supposed to actually start. I done forgot now. See, it's 57 degrees right now. It's only going to get down to 54. The weather is, it's 65% chance tomorrow. And it's all, well, early morning is 0% chance, but from noon to about 6 o'clock in the afternoon, which then is dark, there's more possibilities. But it'll switch back to winter here before we know it, because it starts to go back down. Yeah. Tomorrow we're supposed to get up to 68, and then Thursday it's back down to 53. Then Friday it's just 48. Then Saturday it's just 42. And yeah, the weekend's just 42 and 43. It just stays in the 40s there. But then next Wednesday more rain. Then Thursday more rain. The creek's running, flowing good right now down there. It's just running away. Okay. We were We were up late last night on Eddie Family Farm. They started, their merch came in and they were packing it up. They almost beat my longest live. I mean, they were right there at it. He was just seconds away from 5 hours. And my longest live is 5 hours and 4 minutes. So he was riding my ankles. The heels of my feet was like, oh no, you're hurting me. But no, I wouldn't have cared if he beat it. Because then I'd have just had to make another trip to Florida and just start videoing from the house instead of, part of the way down. Because I think I drove about an hour and a half or something like that before I went live. And I was on there about 5 hours. Yeah. Well, they did merch the whole time. They were, yeah. Excuse me. You should have seen Stephanie. Leighton was helping for a while, but he had to go to school today. So he went to bed about 11 o'clock, my time, I think it was. And, or his time, I can't remember. But Stephanie then, she had to do the bagging. She was getting the stuff off the shelf. Leighton was bagging. And Brandon was pulling the stickers out of printing the stickers off the computer and telling them what to get. And after Leighton went to bed, she was over there. She was over there one-handed bagging the stuff. I was sitting there going, "Here, let me pull that up for you. Here, look." Like, dang. That was their longest live, I'm pretty sure, they've ever had. But he was just a few, 6 or 8, I think, away from 300 orders when all was said and done. But hopefully they got them all in the mail today. That was the goal. But people kept placing orders. Brandon kept pulling it off and calling their name, telling where it was going and their first names, where it was going, and all that good stuff. I don't know where Neil is. Neil was on wasn't Neil just on 3B? Or was that my imagination? I can't remember now. Gone. I think he was just on there. But speaking of 3B Homestead, waiting on Peggy to get back. I got very little done on the chicken. Listen at me. On the Guinea Palace today. I got some bolts started and some clamps clamped on and a frame in the door, and I couldn't do no more because it was all reaching up here over my head, right there, reaching up. You had any luck on finding an apartment or a house or anything, Melinda? Any leads? Are you just happy right where you at? You thought that was no? He was on the roof. He didn't fall off. Uh oh, Peggy heard everything. Well, we're glad you're back now with us. We didn't know you were listening. You said be right back. Melinda, does that mean she was eavesdropping? And but now let's see. 3B Homestead. No luck, huh? The most parts of the country, they're hard to find. Uh, that's not. I mean, even around here, apartments are ridiculous. I don't know how people pay that kind of rent. I'm sure the court is full of people being evicted because they need a place to stay. They need a place to take their family, and they'll take anything they can get. But then they realize we can't afford this much money. I mean, I'm talking about $1,800 a month for rent. If I was going to pay $1,800 a month rent, I'd go ahead and pay a few $100s more, or maybe even a few $100s less, and buy me someplace. Yeah, she was just eavesdropping. uh, but yeah, 3B Homestead. They what was it? Oh, and I've probably told this before, but my TV is straight in front of me from this kitchen door, right straight through the house. You can see the TV, and when baby girl, my granddaughter, was a lot littler, probably about 2019 or something like that. That's been a few years ago. She was an Andy Griffin fanatic. She watched Andy Griffin. Uh, yeah, I hear you. Uh, but they came over, and I was standing somewhere here in the kitchen, and she came through the door, and I was like, "Oh, there's my baby girl," and I reached out, to thinking she's going to hug me and everything, and she went right past me, just like a bottle rocket, shoof, right through the house, straight to the TV. Andy. uh, and I'm standing there like a dummy in the middle of the floor, going like with my hands out, like I'm going to hug somebody that's just went right past me. Yeah, I didn't exist. It was Andy. Uh, I'll never forget that neither. Andy, she was an Andy fanatic. I'm telling you. Uh, and then they were talking. Have I ever told y'all about my hearing? I don't know if I have or not. I may have made a video about it. I don't know. I might have put it on Facebook because back in the day, I wasn't really doing a lot of YouTube. Uh, it is. It's a good show. Uh, but I don't remember if I've ever told it on here. About my hearing aids and all that stuff. I guess I have or I haven't. I don't want to go. I don't mind going through it 100 times. To be honest with you, it's uplifting to the Lord because he gets all the credit. But yeah, I didn't know if I'd already told it or not on here. That when I was deaf, or right at the verge of it, of completely being deaf. You know. Okay. Well, you know. Okay. Well, then it's worth telling again. When I had my stroke is when they found my brain tumor. And I did what they call cyberknife radiation. Well, it really didn't stop it from growing. And they said they couldn't do it again. And hey, there's Neil. Everybody say hi to Neil. And well, the time went on there, and I started losing my hearing. And meanwhile, I was running back and forth. Scott, our preacher, was taking me to Nashville, to Vanderbilt. I was going. They were running me over here to this hearing place over in Tennessee. Probably about 35 minutes away from there, and I was losing my hearing was bad, and I had a loud noise that I couldn't get rid of, and so they decided, well, we got to get him some hearing aids. Well, the first go around, I spent, I bought 2 hearing aids. It was right at $3,000, and yeah, well, they had these noises that played. Uh, they went and which helped me with the rapid noise I was having, and it helped my hearing. Well, I went on a few years there, and they were getting worse. And I ended up switching out in 2020. The first half of somewhere around March, I think it was, of 2020, I ended up with another set of hearing aids that was over $3,000. Well, I'll tell you that. Well, I got ahead of myself. The first set I got, and I kept having trouble with them. With one of them, this one, the right one, I kept having trouble with the hearing aid. And I kept going back and going back, and they had to keep running me over there. And she'd work on the hearing aid, and what she was doing was turning it up. And oh yeah, that's better. That's good. Go home. And a month later, 2 months later, it was gone again. That hearing aid wasn't working like it's supposed to. So I'm back over there again. And this went on like 4 or 5 times that I ended up going. Finally, I said, look, it hadn't worked right since about 2 months since I had them. And uh, it's time to send that hearing aid back and get me a hearing aid that works. Uh, and she took the hearing aid and she put it back on her computer and everything, and she messed with it, and she shook her head and she says, I think it was Peter that took me over at that time, said, I will be right back. And she had me to go with her. She took me in the sound room. And she come back and she goes, well, it's not the hearing aid. I finally went totally deaf in this right ear, completely, 100% deaf. Well, over a few years, this went on for 7 years altogether. But over time, I kept losing my hearing in my other ear. And I was down to like 30% hearing with the hearing aid. Take it out, I couldn't understand nothing at all. It was just noise. I got good at reading lips. And yeah, I had done accepted the fact that I was going to go deaf. And meanwhile, Vanderbilt was saying if it comes to the point that they have to remove this tumor, that if I live long enough afterwards, I would go blind also because I'd never blink my eyes again. And I said, oh, everybody, let's have a nice day. Let's go home. It's in the good Lord's hands. I'm going home. And I got up and left. Well, wouldn't go back no more. I went back to the MRI for the MRIs that they wanted me to, but eventually I said, why am I doing this? Because I'm not going to do the surgery. No, it's done. I'm not going to go deaf and I'm not going to go blind and go from there. Well, they decided to tell me they were doing it for their research. They needed the research. So I volunteered to come back up there once a year and let them do their MRIs, but I wasn't paying for it no more because I'm giving them like $1,300 every time I go up there. And I'm like, I'm not paying them no more. I don't want, you don't even have to give me the results. I don't want the results, to be honest with you. I don't want to know how much it's growed or anything. I want, so there's no need in me doing it. But if you need to research and use it for other reasons, other people or whatever, I'm more than willing to come up here and do it. But I'm not paying for it no more. It's sure, I'll do the MRI, get up and go home. And, well, needless to say, they didn't want me to do the MRIs no more. They didn't want it that bad. And, well, at the same time, my radiation doctor, after all my radiation was done, he sat there and he goes, yeah, if you'd been just a few years older, we wouldn't have done nothing. And I'm like, huh? What do you mean you wouldn't have done nothing? He said, well, the life expectancy is just 5 years. And I'm like, oh, okay. So even if you did it, that's what you're expecting? He goes, yeah. I said, okay, thanks. And I didn't ask for nothing, Melinda. I volunteered to drive up there, gas up there, and everything. Just do the MRI and leave. They changed their mind after I didn't want to pay for it no more. Well, and all this is going on. I've lost my hearing completely in my right ear. I'm basing all my decisions on what they've said, and the fact that I was going deaf. And Well, at home, uh, kind of a rough way to say it, but a little ritual of mine. I I wake up and thank the Lord every morning and uh, talk to Him about keeping me, not letting me miss what I need to do for Him since He woke me up. And then I'd pray. Had a list of, I had my list of names and people that I pray for, and I did that. And then when I went to brush my teeth and get my day started, uh, I had this little box. I called it a loudmouth because the thing was so loud and it was perfect. And and it only had the Bible on it, but it had a button on it. It wasn't but about that thick, and it was, it wasn't no longer than that. It was just a little. It was about like that, about how big it was, and it was real thin. But you had a button on it that said it was random scriptures, and it become a habit of mine. It laid in on the sink in the bathroom, and I pushed that button every morning, and whatever scripture it played would be my scripture for the day. And well, uh, at this point, wasn't doing a whole lot of nothing really. Uh, I uh, I was still the chaplain for the Boy Scouts, and I resigned from that because I was having trouble just uh, keeping track of stuff and being able to be there. And I thought somebody needed to be on top of things a lot better than I could be. And so I pretty much wasn't doing a whole lot of nothing. Uh, couldn't get out and do a whole lot. Uh, well, a lot less than I do now, and that ain't much. And well, uh, it was the seventh year. It was 2020, and I needed the hear. I had outdone the hearing aid that I had because I had two of them, but I didn't wear this one no more. It wasn't no need. It didn't. It wasn't. Had no purpose whatsoever. And it was time to get another hearing aid. Well, I ended up with a box that hung around my neck, and all this stuff. And I had got up that morning, and I went in the bathroom, and I mashed the button to listen to my scripture for the day. Well, I hit the button, and it didn't play nothing. Nothing happened. It was it just laid there. And I'm running water and stuff, and I'm saying, well, wait a minute, did I miss the button? And I reached over and I mashed it again. Still nothing. Well, the battery was dead. That battery went dead on that thing on the spot. No warning whatsoever. Worked fine the morning before, but it just didn't work no more. The battery was dead. And it was a watch battery, one of them little round batteries. Of course, you don't have one of them laying around the house. At least I didn't. And I thought, well, I'll be doggone. Well, I had a cell phone. It was a little bitty old thing. Not much of a cell phone at all. People made fun of it sometimes because it's so small. Uh, I tried to go online and use it to do, to listen to a scripture on it. I couldn't hear it. I was like, well, I'll be doggone. Now I just went and got a new hearing aid, just one. Spent over 3,000 this time on just one with all this stuff that goes with it, and the thing for my TV and all that stuff, and came with it. And uh, I couldn't I couldn't get my phone to I couldn't do it. It wouldn't work. I could use my phone on the thing, but I couldn't listen to music on it. It didn't work. It don't work. It didn't work that way. And I'm like, well, let me doggone. I looked in the mirror and I said, Lord, I hardly ever ask for anything or pray for myself, but right now I just wish I'd be able to hear your word. And like I knew what I was doing, I reached up and pulled a hearing aid out of my ear. And this is June the 1st. I'd had that new hearing aid just a few months. And I never wore a hearing aid since. And I hear out of both ears. Just as if I never lost my hearing at all. In fact, I hear too well now. I hear stuff I don't want to hear sometimes. But that happened all in the instant of 30 seconds or less, standing right there in front of you. But still, what amazes me today, and I say this all the time, it's not the fact that I knew God could heal me and He could give me my hearing back. But I reached up and pulled that hearing aid out. There's nothing. Think about it. You know you can't hear. You know that if you take your hearing aid out, it's even worse. But yet, when I said what I said, I reached up and I pulled it out like I knew what I was doing. That wasn't me that reached my hand up there and pulled it out. And like I said, I haven't worn a hearing aid since. Uh, somebody said one day, well, if God can do all that, why didn't He heal the rest of your problems? I can't answer that. I don't think anybody could ever answer that. But I do know one thing. I got to where I wasn't hardly driving any. After I got to where I could drive some again. And not only that, it's been 12 years now, and I'm, you know, life expectancy of 5 years, 12 years ago. But I can't answer all the questions. But I do know later on that was June the 1st at about 10:45 in the morning. It was almost 11. And well, I started getting to where I was getting out more. I wasn't worried about not being able to hear something if I needed to hear it. Uh, I wasn't worried about my hearing aid going out on me. Didn't have to have one no more. And that was the same year that my sister passed away at in October, the end of October of 2020. Now she's living 600 miles away. I thought I'd never see my sister again because I knew she couldn't come here, and I couldn't, and I just wasn't up. I wasn't up to going there. But it built my confidence back to where I said, even if it takes me 2 or 3 days to drive this distance, when it used to be, an overnight, just 10 hours, 9.5 hours, and the trip was done. I couldn't do that no more. But I said, even if I have to get 2 motels, that's okay. If it takes me a week to get there, I'm going to go see my sister. So my confidence was back. And I went up there, and I was able to spend over a month with my sister before she passed away. We were able to do some things, and I was able to spend some time with her. And I was there to hold her hand when she passed away. And I think that had a lot to do with it. I might be wrong, But I think that had a lot to do with the Lord saying, okay, I want you to go visit your sister, but we got to get you where you feel like you can do it. And I still think that had a lot to do with it, that built up to that point. It wasn't for me, it was for her. And I just reaped the goodness of it. Who did you call first when you hear and return ding? I didn't call nobody. First, for about the first 30 minutes, I walked around turning the TV on and turning it down real low, and disconnecting it from the system that was for my hearing aid to where it was just a regular TV. And I was turning it down real low to almost a whisper, and I could still hear it. I was like, wow. I went and stood out on the porch out there and just listened. And I heard the chickens. I heard the wind blowing. I was like, wow. The wind ain't blowing that hard, but I can hear the wind blowing. And then I got in my car and I drove up to the fruit stand. Now, two people who can testify who toted me around and took me to my doctor's appointments and was there for me when I was, right at bedridden uh, situations, bringing me stuff and everything, taking me wherever I had to go. There's two people right next door that can testify to what was going on and what I went through. And I went to the fruit stand. And I walked in the door and I walked up to the end of the counter. Peter was behind the counter. I said, I got something to tell you. I got some news for you. And she looked at me kind of funny, and then she goes, you can hear. She knew. Yeah, no hearing aids. And it used to be funny because I'd go out and mow the yard sometimes and just try to push the push mower back and forth across the yard. Of course, it pushed itself, it pulled itself, but I just do it just to walk behind it. I couldn't make maybe 4 or 5 trips back and forth across the front of the house. Now I was done for. Now I can push myself and I can push mow that whole thing. And it's been 12 years. I'm 12 years older. And if I didn't wear my hearing aid when I was mowing, who wants to hear the lawnmower run? I didn't want to hear the lawnmower. I didn't need it. I wasn't talking to nobody. I was just out there in the yard. I used to say, oh, we hollered at you, but you didn't respond whatsoever, even twitch. So therefore, we knew you wasn't wearing your hearing aid. Uh, and but yeah, that's my hearing aid story. But like I said, what I'll never forget more than anything is the fact that my hand reached up and pulled it out of my ear, because I wouldn't have done that. Think about it. I wouldn't have done that because I knew I couldn't hear anything without it at all. But I did. Yeah, well, the doctors didn't mess up. They were Peggy. They were doing. They. I learned that's one thing I learned about them. They don't know nothing except for what's already happened to other people, and they take all this and put it together, and they go, okay, this, and this happened when this person had this and this problem. And okay, so that on the average of all the people we've treated around the world, this is what the data shows. So this is most likely what's going to happen. Uh, it's so they're basing their facts on previous cases. I don't. I've had a lot of problems since then. I've got some new problems now, uh, but I'm better off right now than I was 12 years ago when I had my stroke. Uh, I'm I'm better off than what I was 4 years ago. Uh, People wonder how uh, but I don't. It's just part of life, and you know, it rains on just and the unjust of this world, and that's not going to change. And but I've never come up with an answer to the question of why didn't he do this and why didn't he do that. Well, I don't know, and I don't really care. He'll let me know all about that one day. All I know is I'm going to share what I do know and what has happened in my life. And yeah, uh, but that's my hearing aid story. Okay. Uh, but being able to spend them last days with my sister and be holding her hand when she left this world and moved on. Uh, that was a blessing in itself right there. Because, like I said, I never thought I'd see my sister again. And we had a terrible childhood. And I protected her. You know, uh, I wasn't just her big brother, I was her father figure. That's what she used to always say. We got to, I used to take her just to get her away from the house, from what was going on there. Uh, just to keep her away from it as much as I could. I'd go pick her up, and I was quite a bit older than my little sister. And we'd go to High's Ice Cream and get us a milkshake. I always got a pineapple milkshake, and she always got a chocolate milkshake. And we actually got to do that one more time. Uh, she goes, I said, is there anything you want to do, sis? And she says, yeah, I want us to go have our milkshake. So that's what we did. Of course, there wasn't no Highs no more, but next best place. uh, we went and got us an ice cream, or a milkshake, I should say. Uh, but that was just something we never thought we'd do again. Yeah, I still believe it. I believe it was for her. Yeah, we both got a I received a blessing from it, but somebody asks me questions about things sometimes. But what if tomorrow that you lost your hearing, just quit again? I said, well, then my hearing just quit again. I just that's just the way it would be. But I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on today. I have today to live for. And hey, 3B Homestead, good to see you. Glad you dropped by. Uh, that's that's one of the other Peggy. That's true. We're glad to have you drop by. Uh-oh. There we go. It's Brooke. Oh, yeah. Of course it is, because Colton's done went to bed. It's after 9 o'clock. Oh, what's a cooking? Well, she's not cooking nothing now, probably. It's kind of late at night. Oh, you didn't mean it that way. Okay, I got it. Yeah, Colton's done turned in. Uh. Mm-mm. More gravy. Uh, yeah. I love me some gravy. I've got a doctor chasing after me now. They, well, I haven't not answered the phone because they called. Uh, I was actually not around the phone. Uh, no, I don't put jelly in mine. But one time I was asleep and the phone was in the kitchen. I was all the way back at the other end of the house and I never heard it ring. But she asked me to call her back and I got busy and forgot all about it. Then she called me again and I think I was in the shower or something. But she left another message to call her. But it was after 5 o'clock when I realized I had the message. And I'm like, well, I know what it's about, so but I just don't want to deal with it right now. So today they sent me a letter telling me to call them. They've tried twice to call me, and I need to call them. Uh, so uh, I really don't want to deal with it until after the holidays, but I guess I'll have to call them back just to get them to leave me alone until then. Uh, my heart doctor called, well, his secretary or whoever called today and moved my appointment a week earlier than what it was set up at. So I had to change that on the calendar. And she says, "Oh, and I'll mail you a reminder, and I will be calling you and reminding you too." I said, "Oh, well, I appreciate that, but they don't want you to miss them. I tell you." Mm-mm. Y'all start talking about food now. I'll have to have something to eat again. Yeah. Unfortunately, not the same doctor. Oh, well, they've got most of my money. They done got most of my retirement. Uh, all said and done from the get go. Uh, Boy. I guess that was just one big old gust of wind that blew through. Oh, wow. Be careful now. I might decide to play Santa Claus and raid your refrigerator when you're asleep. Good sausage gravy. Mm. Got a wind's blowing off and on. Yep. Well, I remember my mama used to have this thing full of grease sitting up there on the stove, and she'd dip it out, use it. Nowadays, they tell you that was dangerous. You shouldn't keep grease like that. You shouldn't use that stuff. Old grease. Yeah. I got a thing of grease over there right now. Uh, but oh, then I'm gonna start eating more of it. I know it. I bacon grease now. That's a whole nother program right there. I don't have, but I was saying, well, I don't have no doctor appointments right now through New Year's, and I want to keep it that way, whether they want me to make one or not. All right, Neil, don't recycle. Yeah, Neil, you just order yours up and eat it all. And there's Mr. Eric. Good to see you, Eric. Well, I bet it was 80 degrees down there where he's at today because it was 63 here today. So he probably got close to 80. He was probably on the beach fighting the waves. Low 70s. Yeah, we were in the low 60s. So 10 degrees difference. Eric makes me think of seafood every time I see him, talk to him. Oh, me. Yeah, riding up and down the waterfront, probably. Well, do you ride bike in the sand? Yeah, you have to have some pretty good tires for that. The right kind of tires. Or it's really hard to do. Oh, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just uh, I don't like the way they've got it figured out to build to put together. It's I would have done it a little. I would have done it quite a bit different. But since I don't have the metal and the way of bending it and all that stuff to make it, instead of I would have used another clip like they put down at the bottom on one side. I would have used it for the other side with the lift up to swing the door and stuff instead of uh, this way it's set up to do put together. Uh, it makes me think of seafood because I love me some fresh seafood. Living on around here just it makes you want to be on the waterfront when you go out and eat seafood. But close. Boy, was it after hours? Wasn't today? Wasn't no holiday, was it? Well, uh, yeah, yeah. It takes a you need to put if you take like a street racer, 10 speed or 15 speed or something with the skinny tires, you can forget it because they just ain't made for that. Neil was enjoying his ride on the roof of the truck today because the weather was so nice. Uh, yeah, well, I'm just the opposite because we've got barbecue everywhere around here. But you know, there's a place in Portsmouth, Virginia, on Victory Boulevard, where the seafood comes in fresh, and you can go up there and order it. Uh, you can get your steamed crabs, whatever you want, scallops or scallops, whoever how anybody wants to say it. Uh, uh, ha- uh, Deviled crab on a half shell, and it's fresh and it's delicious. And every time I go that part up in there, that's I have to go to Victory Boulevard one more time. That place has been there. Uh, I mean, when I was a kid, that place was there. Yeah. Neil, where have you been? They've been on video before. There's 16 of them in there. The whole gang's in there. I can't Yeah, I'll tell you what. I hadn't I hadn't had no barbecue in a while. The last time I had any was some people from there's a barbecue place down the other side of Lafayette that helped with a lot of fundraisers and stuff for Daniel. And Scott told them, "Well, we're gonna come down there and eat." So they drug me along. So there's where I had to go. And now you want to talk about some ribs? Uh, I'm trying to think of what you call it. It's a amusement park, Old Dominion, uh, in in Virginia. Talking about some ribs, and Neil, they wasn't just bones. There was some beef there. Let me tell you. Uh, uh, Phyllis and myself and my sister and her husband, the four of us. This has been years ago. We went to King's Dominion. That's what it's called. Yeah, we went to King's Dominion, and we walked down there. You got the different countries that's represented through there. You know, like the old Germany and all that stuff. And we went down there, walking down through there, and I said, "We're coming back here to eat." And they had this thing was laid out. This big smoker and everything was out there, huge thing, and it had chicken on it, and it had ribs on it, big old slabs of ribs. And, oh, it smelled so good. And Robbie's looking at those ribs, and he was just a water in his mouth. My sister's husband, his mouth was just a watering and talking about them ribs. And, well, we, I said, we'll meet back here at a certain time. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. We'll meet back here at a certain time and we'll eat. So we did. And nothing's too good for my sweetheart. So we had ribs. We ordered us up some ribs. And we went and sat down. Well, my sister and her husband was further back behind us and the line there. Well, they come through the line, and Robbie sat right straight across from me. And it was like big tables, big like picnic tables. And he sat right across from me. And he set his tray down. And I looked over there, and there was this big old hunk of chicken. And I was like, "Robbie, I can't believe you didn't go for them ribs." He was just a mumbling. My sister sat down there beside him and says, "Them things are too expensive. And he likes chicken." and, I'm talking about, now, Neil, this has some beef on it. I mean, you can pull this big whole long hunk of beef off these things. And I was like, whew. And I say beef, it wasn't ribs. And a big old hunk of meat come off there. And uh, he was sitting there, and he couldn't eat his chicken from watching me eat my ribs. He would, every time I took a bite. And I was having fun with it for a while. I was like, mm, where's another napkin? Mm, these are good. And he was, he was, He was watered, his mouth was watered, and he hadn't hardly ate any of his chicken because he was so busy watching me. Finally, I said, Robbie, would you like to try one of these ribs? And I thought he was going to snatch my plate away from me. I'm like, no, 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 Mom, here, I cut him one off. and and he was content long enough for me to finish eating, and he still had to eat his chicken. My sister wouldn't let him spend the money on the ribs. So I thought, but they were delicious. Oh boy, were they! I mean, it was just outside cooking. It wasn't a barbecue joint or nothing like that. It was just a big grill with. They had all that meat up there on that doggone thing. Ribs and I mean, I bet you they had. It was a huge thing. They probably had 25 or 30 big old things of chicken all over it. Then they had about the number of ribs over here, and they were just cooking away, getting everything ready for serving. It was good. Barbecue. There you go. Yeah. I've got an address. I think it's in there on my nightstand. If nothing ain't happened to it. This lady tells me, she says, I went to Long John Silver's and I said something about, every time I come to a place like this, it kind of makes me homesick. For not for being there, but for the food, for the seafood. That's fresh fish and fresh everything. And she wrote down this address and gave it to me. She says, "This is where you need to go, right here." Okay. Uh, uh, yeah, a brisket. Yeah. Oh, there she goes right there. I'm with you on that, Melinda. I love brisket. That name sounds familiar, but I don't think we got one around here. But I think I've been there before. Somewhere. Of course, I traveled the country for years. Neil says he wants to be able to sop the plate to the last bite. Doesn't speak your language. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I get a taste for something once in a while, but uh, I'm more of a opportunist. I reckon you say if I'm around where fresh seafood's at, I'm not going to pass it up. If I'm around where the good, a place that serves uh, good hamburgers, I'm not gonna pass it up, whatever the place is. But any other time, just around here, I just think come on, make a sandwich. Uh, it's it don't mean a lot to me no more. Yeah, yeah. I know some of you. Neil, Neil was in there last night on that live, helping and supporting packaging all the orders. Neil, do you realize it was just 4 minutes and a few odd seconds, almost beating my life? I mean, they were just seconds under. I think it was. Uh, I don't forgot now. They were just short of 5 hours, just by minutes, just by maybe less than a minute. And another 4 minutes, they could have beat my record. Yeah. Now, skunk is some good eating in some countries. Not in my part of the country. Uh, but skunk tastes like it smells. It's harsh. Yeah. You were well. We were both there to the. You were there at the end, wasn't you, Neil? I was. I was there when they. I couldn't remember if you needed 6, 7, or 8 more. Uh, hey Sue. Uh, more to make 300. Uh, well, now when I pulled it up to rewatch it, it's not. It don't say 5 hours, Neil, and that's what I have to go by. How's Sue doing? How's Sue's mama? Yeah, they had 15 more to go. I was wondering if Stephanie was going to make it. Well, praise the Lord. I've been waiting to see you to get a good report. I'll be changing her status in my book. Well, yeah, it was, I think, 49 seconds it said on the clock. So it's like 11 seconds or something like that, best of my memory. I was tired when I read it. Because I went back and looked right afterwards. Uh, well, we're gonna keep her in our prayers, Sue. We're gonna keep praying her. We're gonna pray her back strong again. How about that? Eric couldn't stay. He had to get some rest so he could pedal that bicycle. Yes, amen. Yeah, she had to. She did all she got him off to school that morning, and then stayed up that late, and then had to get back up and get the kids off to school again. I figured she would do. I figured she would uh probably stay in the. If she put a video out, she would have probably stayed on the. I can't think of what you call it, the golf cart, whatever they got the things called. Uh, because too tired to walk. Side by side. There we go. Yeah. It don't seem like long, but it's been a long time. It's been about 25 years since I've had two, so 26 years, somewhere in that neighborhood. Uh, I tell you something I do miss. I miss running to the basketball practices and the basketball games. Uh, and the baseball games and the football games. And my son had asthma when he was a kid, and I I remember one time they didn't have hardly any. They didn't have enough players. They had just enough players. I think they were I think they were down one player. If they had missing one more player, they would have had to forfeit the game. But they let them play, but they were short one person. So that meant nobody could get put out of the game. Uh, and nobody got a break the whole game. And his mother was there sitting up there, and she's like, he's changing colors. He's going to pass out. But he didn't want to quit. I said, leave him alone. Leave him alone. If he passed out, I'd have went out there and picked him up. He got him off the court, but he played the whole entire game. I was so proud of him that night. He pushed it to the limit. One in the packing department. Yeah, Neil, I was saying, I was sitting there watching it, and she was doing it with her left hand. She was doing this, and I was like, let me get the whole the other end. I wanted to help her put it in there. It took me a while to get used to not going to that kind of stuff and making it to that kind of stuff. Of course, I went to a lot of Daniels and Manny's ball games when they were growing up. Uh, Manny he's the oldest of all three of them, my son and theirs. And we were going to his ball games before my son was born. I know exactly what I ended up doing with mine. My mornings was no problem. I just didn't get up until after morning was over. Oh, mercy. So that was this morning. Well, yeah, this past morning. Yeah, and we were in Boy Scouts. He's an Eagle Scout, but I was in Boy Scouts before he was in Boy Scouts. I was already working with the Boy Scouts of America before he was old enough to be a Boy Scout. Well, Neil, we're gonna call it dedication. You were dedicated to be right there. Now, I mean, 2-year anniversary the other day. I mean, jeepers, you had to be. Well, Neil, which one is it? Do you sleep? do you do you sleep standing in the corner? Huh? Or do you teeter totter swinging? Yeehaw, yeehaw. Neil's he's the walking zombie. The next morning when he had to get up early, the zombie of the UK. I don't know, Neil. I hadn't heard yet. Yeah, I bet he did. I know somebody who was still going to school, and I'm talking about had never stopped going to school. Uh, he was 29 years old, I think, when he skipped a semester and then went back again for 2 more years. He was 31, almost 32 when he got out of school, when he quit going to school. Oh, man. And I think then only because the basement got cold at Mama's house. The bed above me. I can I can mess around with my medication and get up early in the morning, but then that throws me off. It takes me a couple of days to get things back to normal again. Last time was when I had to go over to the hospital early in the morning. Scott was offering to drive me and everybody else, and I'm like, no, no, I'll be fine. I'll do it. Uh, but I had to change something up, change a few things up in order to be able to not be, hello, hi, my name's Dean, and where am I at? Well, at least you get to dream. I need 8 hours of sleep to feel rested. Yeah. Well, I don't. I don't get up early, and most of the time I don't really stay up late. Uh, but I wake up over and over and over every night. I'm awake. I wake up. I wake up and I'll look and turn over and try to go. I know right away I'm not going to go back to sleep real quick. And so I'll look and see if anything's happened on Facebook. I'll look and see if anything's happened on YouTube. And I'll click on my email. And that's a bad mistake because I've had some emails that were important and I've clicked on them and read them and sent them to the trash and then went back to sleep and woke up and forgot all about them. And when somebody tell me about it, I'm like, huh? No, Go back and look in the trash and there'd be that email where I put it. You mean last night or this morning, Neil? Or the, Neil's got an app. He's got an app for everything. Oh, and that reminds me, Neil sent you sent two web pages for my grandson. The one of them was history, of that train. And I sent them to him. Last night after the live. Well, it was morning time by then, wasn't it? Your time. Yeah, your morning. It was. So you got that much sleep that morning? You're right. There were 2 YouTube links. And yeah. I sent them. I meant to ask Christina if she saw them to give them, if she gave them to him or not. Because he'll like that history for sure. Well, Peggy, Neil probably get you one. Neil, can you help Peggy out there with that? Susan line too. She wants one if you can do it. Peggy needs an app. Well, I figured you would, Neil. So I guess there isn't an app for it that's been invented yet. Bo, but he says you can get you a robot to do it. What was that? What was that cartoon? The Jetsons. Remember the Jetsons? Outer space had the it's got an app that finds his app. I can't remember what the robot had a name. Kelly, hey, Rosie, yeah, Rosie, yeah, that's it. Uh, the Jetsons, yeah. All right. Well, what I remember the most about it is about it was the way it come on. You know, he'd pull up he'd be in this little hover around thing like they use for an automobile, and the opening song and music and all that. And he'd pull his wallet out and pull some money out to give his wife, and she'd take the wallet. Oh, I'm feeling okay. Hope you are. Yeah. Well, we'll find out next year. Yeah. It might be even better next year. Just getting started like it was. Uh, I've heard it was a success, but what I seen on video, it wasn't that upbeat. It didn't. It was missing something. It was just kind of like I'm sure over there where the kids were going through and seeing Santa Claus and picking their toys up and everything was was exciting. But what was going on the street didn't seem to be all that upbeat to me. I ain't forgot that. Yeah, that's true. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I've been there, done that, so I understand. But you got to remember, he would have want you to have a good time. But it's yeah. Well, thank you, but it's no good. I know. Uh, I have to base it on how I feel about things, and when I'm gone, I don't want my kids to uh, be sad and down in the blues on certain days, and because I'm not there, I want them to. I would want them to be upbeat and uh, living life as if I was there, because that's the way I like seeing them happy. We are. Oh yeah, that's right. You're in Southern Alabama, ain't you? Oh well, Neil. Can y'all hear that wind? Praise the Lord. Yeah, yeah. He would want the best for you, and that's not. Uh, and that wouldn't be sitting around being sad. Yeah, that's what I thought. South Alabama. I thought that's why. I'm getting pretty good at this. I'm starting to remember things better. But yeah, I plan on being back down there in the near future because the mayor down there keeps losing his golf balls, and he hits them into the woods. I might need to take him some. Yeah, you might have learned a new language, Neil. The I'm at the, I guess you could say, Eric and Neil. I'm kind of at the stage of life that the kid stuff is kind of hard for me, uh, because it, there's so much more to it, and I kind of I have a hard time letting the kids have fun sometimes because of it. Uh, and let's don't forget what it's really about. But but at the same time, I know they got to have some little fun. But uh, there was a Christmas story that was I get too picky sometimes, and I know it. There was a Christmas story being told, and in it said talked about the shepherds came and the wise men came, but the wise men didn't come that night. It was later on, uh, in a different place. But you know, I guess I just want it to be out there the way it's supposed to be out there, not the way not the way people want to make it. And it's little things, and but some to me, little things mean a lot. Ever and or maybe or whatever, it needs to be read. Uh, 50 miles south of Montgomery. Oh, did you get all the nutrients? But I'm used to crowds. I mean, I'm used to a lot of people. That don't bother me, but I'm just as happy to stay at home. It's kind of funny how that works now. I mean, uh, I've stood on stages and spoke to 15, 2,000 people at a time over the years, but uh, now I'm just as happy to be by myself. Yeah, you never know what they're plotting against you, do you, Neil? Oh, let me get caught up. I'm way behind, ain't I? He's in Pensacola. Uh, man, he's got one of his daughters. Uh, she likes to play roles. One time she was coming out of the backyard, been just a few years ago, and she was talking. It was make believe stuff. And I said, "Yeah, and you got to be careful letting them out of there because somebody's done let the elephant out and the zebra out down there. They're down there past the tree road. I don't know how we're gonna catch them." And she fell right into the role play with it all, and we had imaginary fun. But yeah, I can still do that. That's me, Meg. I'm just as happy to sit at home. Yeah. Eric, if I was to come to Pensacola, would you show me where the best seafood is for the day? Oh, wouldn't that be something driving to Pensacola just to get some seafood? Yeah. No, that's the lucky seafood. It's lucky it hadn't been caught yet. But uh, tomorrow the rain is off and on all day, and kind of makes it hard to do stuff outside when, especially when the ground is so soggy and your foot sinking into it. I sat in my chair in the backyard, and I was sitting up this high, and when I sat down in the chair, I went, "Eep." uh, the legs of the chair just went right into the ground. It's rained a lot. All night long was a good long rain. And when I first went out today, it was light rain in the air still. On the spot. Well, I just like to have. We talked about it. Now I'd like to have some good seafood. So, and I know I'm not gonna find it around here. Yeah, well, that's what I have to do, Neil, because I can't drive in the rain. And I said, okay, no rain for the next 45 minutes. It says rain starts in 45 minutes. I got to go to the dollar store. Sometimes, Neil, it's just the adventure. Yeah, you got to drive home. There used to be a guy that parked down here in Chickamauga. He would go down to the ocean and bring the seafood up the same day. That afternoon, you could go and meet him down there and get seafood. But I'd like to have me some good deviled crabs right now. Yeah. If you get a deviled crab around here, it's mostly bread in it, you know. She's got a nap on the way home. Well, I'm pushing the 2 hour mark, and I think I need to get off here because I want to try to get up again tomorrow. Hey, Christina's back. Look at that. Oh, crab legs, yeah. I remember Miss Josephine. She loved her some crab legs, and she liked them great big ones. We 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 met in Biloxi one time. We all went to Biloxi, and that's where we met at. And we went to this all you could eat buffet, and the restaurant was in the casino there, and she sat down there and she started popping in them giant crab legs. When she got finished, the guy sitting beside me talking, he got hit with some juice in the eye. Miss Josephine had to go change her shirt because she had stuff on. she, she, she loved her some crab legs too. Neil just rides on the roof now. She said she was back. Now I don't see her. That's all I saw. I live about a mile and a half from one of the best places. Show me where it's at. I'll buy. Tammy. Well, hello and chat. Getting ready to go to my new job. 12 to 8. Okay. We just talking. 12 to 8. Oh, so you go in at noon? Oh, midnight, right? Someone suggested I heard. How's oh, yeah, a new job. Everybody needs a new job. Christina, did you get Melinda wants to know if you got some chicken noodle soup like you're supposed to. And Meg says, it's finished. But I thank all y'all for coming in tonight and hanging around. Tammy, I hope you enjoy your new job. She did, she said. Melinda. Will tonight be your first night, first day? Peggy says. Oh yeah, Christina. Did you? I sent a couple of days ago. I think it was. Now I sent you two links. One of them is in your. I sent them to your email, but they're for YouTube. And one of them is the history of that train. Uh, Neil sent me two different links. Just in the just the past couple of days, but you should have them in your email if you hadn't found them already. I sure don't miss. Yeah. Other than watching videos about the job for 3 days, yes, ma'am. Nothing like it. Getting that orientation in, you know. I made homemade and I don't know. Protestant. Okay. I used to have a morning paper out, and I had to get up real early in the morning to deliver them all. Yeah, I sent them to the email. There, it's been what's it been, Neil? 2 days ago. I mean, uh, let me look here. On Sunday, he sent them to me Sunday, and I sent them to you. I sure did, because it's already in my phone, and it goes to the electric company email, which is on her phone. Well, I got part of the door up. I started framing the door, and I had to quit today. The weather wasn't cooperating. It wouldn't quit misting rain, and after I just got the screws started at the top on both ends of it, and the frame part of it, I had to quit. I couldn't. I couldn't. They're not tightened up, but I really don't want them tight right now until I get it exactly set right where I want to level it off, and then make sure everything is set right the way I want it. But What is your Marshall Jim Duncan? What is your favorite Christmas movie? Mm. Yeah, the frame, the support, and everything is done. Once I get it moved over a little more and get it leveled off and get the door built, finish building the door, uh, then putting a screening on it, and it'll be done. If somebody would drop by, I won't say his name, for just an hour and a half, we could get it done. I don't know. I don't know about a movie anymore. When I think about Christmas movies, all I can remember is what the kids watched. Okay, that was close. Yeah. Uh, what's another day to you, Neil? Uh, I still got him on my phone, Christine. If you don't find him, let me know because I want him to get them because he's going to really like that one for sure. I watched just a minute or two of the beginning of it. I just checked to see what they were. Frosty the Snowman, huh? I don't know. Now I tell you what was see, I can't remember uh there's the cartoon one. Uh, the dog uh on top of the doghouse. Uh, I can't remember the name. I can't remember. Uh, yeah, Snoopy was the dog, but it's the they always did the one where the tree was a weed. I like that. I'm getting so young I can't remember things like I used to. Charlie Brown's Christmas. There we go. Thank you, Peggy. Charlie Brown's what I couldn't remember. Yeah, the little poor little tree. Because that's all I can really remember the ones I watch with the kids. I can't remember how most of the name of them. Frosty the Snowman. I just watched part of that the other day where the hat was from a guy that did magic with the rabbit wouldn't come out of the hat and he threw the hat away. Uh, I just saw that the other day. But I just don't. I didn't see it. In fact, I didn't see the whole thing because I just don't watch. I don't watch that much TV anymore. Some of these I don't even I don't even remember seeing them. I know when I was a kid, it was one that always come on. Of course, it was in black and white. So, but it was Santa Claus was in it, but I can't remember. The night before, it was like kind of like telling the story the night before Christmas. That yeah, I can't remember. I was thinking the other day. I was trying to think, uh, like rhymes and things that you used to tell your kids. I can't even remember. I can't even remember them anymore. Uh, you know. Well, hey Tina. Uh, yeah, I can't even remember them anymore. Uh, like Humpty Dumpty. I know there's one Humpty Dumpty. I can't remember how they go. And there was some of them were scary. I mean, you didn't want to tell your kids these rhymes and riddles and all that stuff, and then tell them to go to sleep. Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall. Am I going to fall off the bed? And then uh, down will come cradle, cradle and all. Whatever one that one was. These are scary things. Well, God bless Sue, and keep smiling because you got a reason to. I'm going to get out of here in just a minute myself. Uh, I'm glad you dropped in. Diddle, the cat. Yeah. No, I don't remember it like that. Turn Neil loose. That's why Neil has to ride on the roof of the truck. Oh, yeah. God bless Sue. Good night. And I want to tell everybody else. Who was it just coming here? Tina, wasn't it? Yeah, Tina, you're running late. Well, we're glad you made it. We we've been hanging out for 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it's 11:17 at night now. And I'm going to have to go get me some shut eye and some sleep to go with it. That late night work. Uh, well, yeah, that's all we want to hear, Neil. uh, All right. I thank each and every one of you for being with me tonight. And, well, we got a few likes, I think. But until then, ho, 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 Merry Christmas. And remember what it's really about. Yeah. And I'll see you. I'll see you soon. God bless and keep smiling. Jesus loves us.